Unoyalam ke Meghalaya Pradesh Trinamool Congress Legislature Party, Dr. Mukul Sangma ulong ba. Karukom yad ke Jingiakren Iasuk bat ke Hnlc, Sheptieng ba yo, kami ke Jingdu Jingshaniah, kabala banuan rabiang ye ke Jinge hadien habut kumbala long hakapor bayakren bat ke ANVC. Ulong ba ya baro ke Jing ujor niki kis persya ye ke Dkhot ke Hnlc, yang mentah de banueng shwa. Hadien balaya soy ye ke Jing menjur ya keren Iasuk. Dr. Mukul ulong ba. Kani habakili halor ke Khot Hajir jong ke Special Court jong ke National Investigation Agency NIA ya sangut ki noi lamba khmat ke hinyutrep National Liberation Council Hnlc. Ulong maka sorkar ke day ban kren shai halor kini ki kendon la penyaj ya ke Jingiakren Iasuk. Wadulong ru ke sorkar jylla ke day banyai penbej bahapot ke sorkar India. Namar yakum kini ki Jingiakren tang ke sorkar jylla ke numla ban shimrai. Unong yalam kaliang persya ulong ba na duak ki por bayalam. Ya ke sorkar ke shimpor bha banyak keren penbej bat ke sorkar India. Ula bu jingli ke sorkar jylla balai kam ya keren ke sorkar India ya ki kam gibarit ni ki kes ki bala ban penja lenti ya ke Jingiakren Iasuk.
I have had the privilege of looking at all issues pertaining to the problems of militancy, insurgency, terrorism, and the need to engage in this kind of dialogue and discussion. And you must appreciate one aspect, that the government was, during, many people will question, the government then decided to engage in kind of political dialogue, political solution. And then it was done for one particular organization, NBC. After the suspension of operation as a follow-up action of the tripartite agreement agreement involving Government of India, the state government, and ANBC. I realized that it was not done properly. It was not done properly because you are you are well aware of the fact that there were substantial number of trained members of the then ANBC who were still in jungle, who didn't come and were part of those cadres who were declared before the government that this is the total strength. That was the total strength of ANBC. One particular group with one of the senior leaders of NBC continued to remain in the thick jungle in now the southwest Khasi Hills. So these things came to the notice of the government, indicating that NBC did leave behind substantial number of cadres with sophisticated weapons. Therefore, the government then had to be very, very cautious to engage in discussion. Therefore, we wanted to see whether any other further discussion, let us learn from this experience. Then, not only that, subsequently what happened, that particular leftover group was then exploited by some of the leaders, and you have a splinter group, NBCB. You will recollect these whole developments that unfolded. Then, there was also desertion, then ultimate emergence of another terrorist organization, the GNL, and many others, ASA, ULA, you name, all these other militant organizations other than GNLA also were led or headed by members belonging to that earlier proscribed organization, which were party to the tripartite agreement to give effect to suspension of operation. You see, so it was necessary as policymaker to really understand, okay, the complexity associated with all these things. So we wanted to engage with Government of India. Then there was a call that we must engage with Hnlc. So we also wanted to see during our time, is the leadership of Hnlc really committed, or will Hnlc also, like what we have seen with NBC, land up in that kind of situation? So we needed to have a real in-depth studies and understanding, and therefore we took time. It's good thing that now, after having that whole long drawn in-depth analysis and understanding, the government agreed to engage them in this political dialogue. It is good. But the way it is being done, I'm afraid it will have reasons to create that lack of trust. You see, lack of trust is, very, very, I must say, these are recipe for future problem of similar nature. Therefore, government has to be very serious. Government must come clean on what was the terms and conditions which were inked in those conditions to proceed ahead with this political settlement through this political negotiation. Why has the government not been, if not, ensure that this kind of hiccup shall not emerge and create this kind of suspicion, doubt, lack of trust? Therefore, the government must take up with Government of India, because in any event when we want to engage with any of the proscribed organization or banned terrorist organization, Government of India's note is required. The state government alone cannot decide. You see, that was one of the calls that the state government had to take during our time, because this engagement has always been collective, involving both the state and the union government. And therefore, have the state failed to ensure that the Government of India is on board in as far as these conditions are concerned, I am questioning the government. Have they not taken the Government of India on board pertaining to these small, minute details which can be a factor to create the kind of dislocation which we are apprehensive of, given the kind of situation that we are seeing? All the cases that are filed against the members of the organization must be over a period of time withdrawn after the negotiation text settlement is signed. Didn't we do that? Even now, as we say, number of the cases after the disbanding of the NBC and after number of cadres agreed to delink themselves in respect of GNLA, members of other associations, other organizations, when they agreed to accept the offer of the state government and delink or dissociate themselves from their parent organization, terrorist organization, and come over ground to assimilate themselves with the nation and be part of the whole progress and prosperity, the good story of development. What is happening now? I have been told by many of these cadres that even till now, they are made to go and attend to many of the cases that has been filed against them. Well, you are all aware, this whole process is a continuous process. We could not even complete the whole counseling process and rehabilitation package that was designed by the state government in respect of other organizations like those members who withdrew and came and surrendered from GNLA and other organizations. This government abandoned this youth. Some of them have been deprived of what was promised. This does not indicate the commitment with which the state government wanted to engage in dialogue and generate that kind of hope and also the trust and confidence. I'm afraid these are precursors to create that kind of lack of trust and confidence. Lack of trust, even when you build a family between husband and wife, you know what happens when there is a lack of trust. So similarly in the society, government must have the reasons to believe that whatever policy decision they take, whatever measures they embark upon, pertaining to any issue, pertaining to any related, whether contentious or non-contentious, it must